What's good, sports fans? Are you ready to elevate your live entertainment experience? Well, let me introduce you to SeatGeek, an amazing platform that connects you to your favorite events while saving you money. With SeatGeek, you can easily find tickets for sports games, concerts, and so much more, all in one place. The interface is user-friendly, making it simple to browse and compare prices. And one of the best features is the interactive seating chart. You can see exactly where you'll be sitting and how much you'll be spending, ensuring you get the best value for your money. But here's the best part. Check this out. By using my promo code, ChalkItUpSports, you can enjoy a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. That's right, $20 off your first SeatGeek order. Imagine catching that thrilling game or concert without breaking the bank. It's a win-win situation. Plus, you'll be a part of a community of fans who eat, sleep, and breathe live events just as much as you do. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description to download the SeatGeek app today. And don't forget to use my promo code ChalkItUpSports for a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. Get excited. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah. What's good? This is your boy Tone DeShields the second. You guys are locked in on your dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Eternally grateful to be here with you guys. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, man. Make sure you guys are locked in. I really do appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. I feel like we haven't spoken in a while. We haven't spoken, since I know we did the link up on Tuesday. Right, we did the link up with Simone Stanley on Tuesday night, and Wednesday and Thursday we kind of been chilling. Right, the Eagles had their joint practices these past few days with the Cleveland Browns, and they play the Cleveland Browns tomorrow, Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. I think that game will be aired on NFL Network. Make sure you guys do your due diligence on that to make sure you don't miss the game. But yeah, man, make sure you guys lock in. We got some things to talk about. I want to try to put out some fires here. I've been sitting back and I've just been paying attention to the energy, paying attention to how you guys have been responding and just feeling as of late with the media, the fans, all that kind of stuff. I just been trying to just sit. Every now and again, I sit back and I just pay attention. And man, I got to tell you, man, some of you guys are on edge. Some of you guys are on edge right now. And I'm not going to pretend some of it is invalid, but some of us have to reel it in a little bit. Some of us have kind of jumped out the window. So make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We're going to try to break some things down. We're going to try to break down some observations from the joint practice that occurred yesterday. And I really can't wait, man. I really can't wait. So make sure you guys get comfortable, kick your feet up, make sure you got your snacks, make sure you got your beverages, you know what I'm saying? Make sure the kids are out the way. As a matter of fact, the kids are back in school now, depending on what state you in, depending on where you at. The kids are back in school. So and some of them might be on their way home now. You may be on your way leaving out to go pick them up. You may be in that pickup line right now. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you guys lock in, you know what I'm saying? Keep the kids safe, of course. It's funny, with the kids going back to school and everything, I immediately think about that movie Weapons. And I know we talked about it before, but that movie couldn't have come out at a better time. Kids going back to school, the movie Weapons comes out, kids go missing. It's crazy. So nonetheless, let's get into the conversation. Let's not waste any more time, you guys. Again, smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. But I want to start with the observations regarding the joint practice, right? Let's start there. Because the Eagles, day one was stronger than their day two with the Browns, right? Day one was way better. But day two, the Browns it was just their day. It was just their day. And nobody on the Philadelphia Eagles really got the better side of any matchup. And sometimes it be like that. Sometimes it's just not y'all day. And it happens not just on the football field, it happens in life. Sometimes what can go wrong will go wrong. It wasn't like it was just one position group that was getting carved up or, one player that was just getting dominated. It wasn't the Eagles' day yesterday as it pertains to that joint practice, right? The Browns, they got, they accomplished a lot of what they wanted to accomplish, and the Eagles as a whole just didn't step up that day. Not for lack of effort, but it just wasn't their day. The first joint practice, it was much stronger, but sometimes it's just not your day. So I'm not going to overreact personally. I'm personally not going to overreact to the results of a joint practice. I know you got some people out there who keep track of the stats and keep track of the win losses in joint practices, which is, I don't know what that means or what that does. I mean, it's cool to keep track of, but it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything at all. And I think they also had some guys who weren't even active for that joint practice, right? So let's just get to the observations here. You guys know I lean a lot on my guy Dave Zangaro. He does great work reporting on the Eagles, and Ruben Frank. They do pretty good work. Also Jeff Kerr does good work. He's more of a national guy, but he covers the Eagles for sure. I give love to my guy Chris Franklin, and Glenn Irby does a good job as well. But I definitely like reading Dave Zangaro because I just like the way they they write in terms of how they keep things in order. So let's bring this on screen here. Let's discuss what they saw, what their observations were, because again, I'm not there, so I have to rely heavily on what I hear, on what I see footage wise, or just what I read. Right, I have to do a lot of due diligence in compiling my own notes, based off of what these guys write. But again, there's just been a ton of overreaction from the joint practice, right? And I even saw people overreacting to Landon Dickerson on the sideline, right? Landon Dickerson, he went down with the meniscus injury and he recently got his procedure. So now he's just recovering. And I saw people trying to give Landon Dickerson a hard way to go because my man was enjoying a couple beers on the sideline, with the offensive lineman. You know what I'm saying? He grabbed a cooler Miller Lite. You know what I'm saying? He passed him around to the offensive lineman, and they were just relaxing. They were just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Just taking in the vibes. A lot of those guys just got finished practicing. It was the end of practice, so a lot of those guys were just, just taking everything in and just trying to, catch a little vibe or whatever. What's the word I'm looking for? Politicking with each other. So I saw people try to kill Landon Dickerson. It was weird. But yeah. Let's get into some of the observations here by Dave Zangaro and Ruben Frank, man. Let's move down. So let's just read this. It says here, the Eagles and Browns wrapped up their 2 days of joint practices with sessions on Thursday that lasted just 1 hour and 6 minutes. This practice didn't include any 7-on-7s or 1-on-1s, but featured plenty of 11-on-11s with the first and second teams. He put in parentheses, you can probably assume the third teams are going to see significant action in Saturday's preseason game. Both the Eagles and Browns were on their best behavior without a real fight during the 2 days. It says during this practice, he focused on the Eagles' defense while Ruben Frank focused on their offense. So we'll have some observations from Ruben Frank today as well. So let's get to the injury report. He always does. He always starts with the injury report. So A.J. Brown didn't practice with the hamstring. Landon Dickerson obviously didn't practice with the knee. Guard Quinyon Green didn't practice with the shoulder. Safety Lewis Seen didn't practice with the groin. And Lane Johnson didn't practice because it was a rest day for him. Right. Moving on. Scroll down here a little bit. All right. As far as being limited, Saquon Barkley was limited with rest. Zack Baun with the back was limited, and Elijah Cooks has been limited with the shoulder. You know, Elijah Cooks, man, he may not make this roster. I mean, he may not make this roster because he's not getting the reps, man, because of that shoulder. And who knows if he plays tomorrow? Who knows if he's going to be active tomorrow? But, you know, Elijah Cooks was somebody that was really, really coming along, and all of a sudden that shoulder really set him back. And now guys like Darius Cooper, Johnny Wilson, and Anaya Smith have kind of got the edge on him. Says here, the day after his meniscus surgery, left guard Landon Dickerson made an appearance after practice with a sleeve on his right leg. The Eagles are hoping he'll be ready for the season opener in 3 weeks. All right. Let's keep it moving. Now, as far as some depth chart notes, and I'm going to get to all your super chats, by the way, you guys. I'm going to get to all of them. So make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed. So regarding some depth chart notes, Brett Toth continued to take first-team left guard reps in place of Landon Dickerson. Darian Kennard worked as the second-team left guard. And Matt Pryor was the first-team right tackle with Lane Johnson taking a rest day. The first-team offensive line went like this from left to right. Mailata, Toth, Cam Jurgens, Tyler Steen, and Pryor. So they had 2 backups in that left guard and right tackle, respectively. The second-team offensive line from left to right, they had Kendall Lamb at left tackle, Darian Kennard at left guard, Drew Kendall at center, Trevor Keegan at right guard, and Cameron Williams at right tackle. Also, rookie Miles Hinton also got some work at left tackle as well. We got a Keely Ringo update. It says here, after Keely Ringo was up first on day 1 of joint practices, Adoree Jackson took the spot opposite Quinyon Mitchell on day 2. They eventually saw Jacorian Bennett get some first-team reps later in practice, and Bennett, Matt McWilliams, Ringo, and Eli Ricks split up second-team reps. Brandon Johnson was second-team nickel. So basically, he was in the slot. Also, Cindy Brown was again next to Reed Blankenship at safety in the nickel package, but rookie Andrew Makuba did mix in. So Cindy Brown has the edge on Andrew Makuba right now in terms of just reps and getting those first-team reps. Andrew Makuba, we're going to talk more about that competition later on in the show, but Andrew Makuba, because of his shoulder injury previously, it kind of set him back a little bit. So he's been trying to play catch up. He believes he's closed the gap, but we're going to talk more about that later on. But yesterday at joint practice, Sidney Brown got the bulk of the first team reps. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and Jihaad Campbell were the first team linebackers up. Remember, Zack Baun is limited, and Kobe Dean is not even active right now. It says here the Eagles really rotated a lot at edge rusher in this practice. Azeez Ojulari, Josh Uche, and Obo got first team reps. The Eagles are trying to figure out the spots after Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt. So clearly Jalen Hunt and Nolan Smith are the guys. The Eagles really feel good about where Jalen Hunt is. That's a strong sign for him as well. It says here, as far as kick return teams, Will Shipley and AJ Dillon were in as returners, and then EJ Jenkins, Darius Cooper, and Kylan Granson, Tristan McCullum, Ben Van Sumeren, Patrick Johnson, Keely Ringo, Johnny Wilson, and Smile Mondan Jr. were in as well. Now, remember, Ruben Frank was watching the offense, and Dave Zangaro was watching the Eagles defense. So this was Ruben Frank's observations from the Eagles offense against the Browns defense. It says here, this was like watching Reggie White circa 1988. Myles Garrett was that good on Thursday. Garrett single-handedly wrecked practice. Myles Garrett used a variety of speed and power moves to make practice a living hell for the normally reliable Jordan Mailata. With Myles Garrett constantly in the Eagles' backfield, there was little chance for Jalen Hurts to get the football down the field. He did hit a couple mid-range passes to Devontae Smith early in practice, including a short touchdown. But once Myles Garrett got going, he was literally unstoppable. and everything in the passing game went to A.J. Dillon or Will Shipley as the Eagles tried to neutralize Garrett's pass rush. So Myles Garrett had a phenomenal practice. And look, Myles Garrett is who he is. Myles Garrett is a phenomenal talent. You know, there was rumors the Philadelphia Eagles were trying to make a play for him, especially knowing he was going through a contract dispute with the Browns. Nonetheless, Jordan Mailata struggled. He struggled against Myles Garrett. And I mean, it's Myles freaking Garrett. How can I get mad at a guy for struggling against Myles Garrett? Now, granted, Jordan Mailata is an all-pro himself. But sometimes a guy just has your number that day. Sometimes a guy just gets the better of you on that given day. And when both of those guys are that talented, when it's elite on elite, somebody's going to lose. Now, granted, you would like Jordan Mailata to be able to impose his will a little bit more in those situations. You wanted to be a little bit more balanced, but it wasn't the Eagles' day that day. Jordan Mailata really couldn't get he just couldn't get going that day, and it made it difficult for Jalen Hurts. And you know, when you're a left tackle, you're on the island. You're going to be 9 times out of 10, you're going up against the opposite team's best pass rusher, and you don't really get too much help. And it made it difficult for Jalen Hurts to try to drop back, get comfortable, push the ball downfield. And he was relegated to kind of checking the ball down. And I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at the quarterback taking what the defense gives him and living to fight another day and not putting the ball in harm's way, not trying to force the ball downfield when you know your offensive line is kind of struggling. And again, you're missing Lane Johnson, you're missing Landon Dickerson. So the Eagles were compromised, essentially. But sometimes it may be like that, right? In the real game, you may lose a couple guys, you got to adjust. So I'm not going to kill Jordan Mailata for having a bad day against Myles Garrett. I'm just not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to kill Jalen Hurts, right? We're going to talk more about Jalen Hurts in this show because I feel like a lot of people have been taking every opportunity to try to say, should we be concerned about Jalen Hurts? You know, is Jalen Hurts going to have a setback year or whatever it may be, right? Like I feel like people always there's guys who work in the city, who work in media, who work on these radio stations, and they just can't wait to be proven right about Jalen Hurts, which it's weird energy to me. It's weird energy. These guys they can't wait for something negative to happen around Jalen Hurts so they can say, see, I told you he's not good. I told you he's not a top 10 quarterback. I told you he's the weakest link on his team. It's weird energy. And I'm tired of people falling for it. I'm tired of these guys even putting that energy out there. Because for a guy to deliver a Super Bowl championship to this city, he deserves to get treated way better than that. He deserves the benefit of the doubt way more than he gets. I'm sorry. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. Jalen Hurts deserves the benefit of the doubt more than any athlete in this city. I mean that from the bottom of my heart because he delivered. He delivered when they said he couldn't deliver. Jalen Hurts did what a lot of people say he couldn't do. They said he would be the reason this team won't win a Super Bowl. They said, if you want to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, shut down Saquon Barkley and force Jalen Hurts to beat you. Well, we saw how that turned out. Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl champion. And for this guy to deliver under those circumstances, again, the defense did their job. Okay. Jalen Hurts still got to go out there and throw the ball. Saquon Barkley didn't blow that Super Bowl wide open. Jalen Hurts did what he did. And guess what? Let's be honest about this. Let's be honest. The Eagles, on offense, the Eagles were not winning first and second down often. They were not. They were forced in a lot of second and long, third and long situations. And Jalen Hurts pushed the ball down the field, made plays with his arm and with his legs. So it's weird how somebody who was a Super Bowl MVP, a Super Bowl champion, has proven that he was worth the $50 million contract. And they look for every opportunity to question his validity. It's weird energy to me. And it's clickbaity. It shows desperation. It means that you don't really trust your ability to deliver compelling content without being salacious or without being disrespectful. It shows a lack of skill, if you ask me. It shows a lack of skill. in your craft. That's my humble opinion. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. It's one station that's actually showing respect for the quarterback, that's giving him the benefit of the doubt. It's another station that's taking every chance to bite his back out. And it's weird energy. Let me continue, though, because I still got more to say about it, but I don't want to get wrapped up. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. It means a lot, man. It means a lot. All right, some other observations from Ruben Frank. He says the best play for the offense came early when Jalen Hurts completed a short pass to Dallas Goedert near the left sideline. Dallas Goedert shoved the cornerback Miles Harden out the way, setting Harden down to the ground in a heap, then picked up another 12 yards down the field before getting tackled. Good play for Dallas Goedert. Good play for Jalen Hurts. Dallas Goedert made something happen after the catch, which is kind of reminds me of what he did in that wild card matchup. It says here, while Jihaad, and this is Dave's and Garrel's observations now. It says, while Jihaad Campbell hasn't gotten reps as a pure edge rusher in team drills, the Eagles were walking him up to the line like an overhang player frequently on Thursday. Earlier this summer, Jihaad Campbell would mostly drop into coverage in those moments. But today he got a chance to rush the passer and looked good. He even picked up a sack on Joe Flacco, who tried to step up in the pocket before fleeing, but didn't quite get beyond the line of scrimmage. So Jihaad Campbell's been looking really good. They're starting to expand what he does, right? They're starting to expand how he's affecting the game, right? And Joe Flacco had a good day as well. Joe Flacco had a real good day against the Eagles defense. Let's just call that what it is. All right. Says here, the Eagles eventually gave up some plays through the air in Thursday's practice, but early on, they were doing a great job stuffing the run. Both Jihaad Campbell and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. showed the ability to clean up runners and fill gaps. Smile Mondon Jr. had a nice run fit with the second team, too. So Jihaad Campbell, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Smile Mondon did a phenomenal job defending against the run, did a phenomenal job getting into the run fits. That shows attention to detail. That shows knowing where you're supposed to be. These guys are setting the edge. These guys are filling the gaps. These guys are going out there and inflicting the punishment. These guys are inflicting the pain on the opponent. They're not running away or trying to go. Not trying to get around these offensive linemen. They're going through their chests. So and that's a big deal for Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who's not the biggest linebacker, but still finds a way to make his presence felt and is a really, really smart player. Moving on, it says here, Sidney Brown and Cooper DeJean were active running downhill as well to make some tackles too. That is clearly Sidney Brown's strength, going downhill. That is, he had a really impressive hit on Harold Fanning Jr. to keep the rookie tight end out of the end zone at the 1 yard line after the catch. So Sidney Brown has shown that he's out there, he's hitting, he's inflicting punishment, he's flying downhill. You know, obviously Sidney Brown. The questions are his consistency backpedaling. The questions are his consistency in coverage. But Sidney Brown has been somebody that's been very active, very, very detail-oriented in his run fits and going after the ball carrier. So that's a good sign for Sidney Brown and Cooper DeJean. We know Cooper DeJean can set the edge. We know Cooper DeJean can fit in the run game. We know Cooper DeJean is a short tackler. Moving on. Says here, the Eagles' first-team defense did have a pretty ugly period against the Browns in the red zone. First, Jerry Jeudy beat Quinyon Mitchell on a slant for a touchdown. It's just weird to see Quinyon Mitchell get beat like that. Then Joe Flacco threw a perfect pass to tight end David Njoku with Reed Blankenship trailing in the coverage. Njoku caught the ball over DeJean in stride and celebrated by spiking it. And then the Browns ran a hook and ladder that worked against the Eagles' defense. So here's another thing we got to keep in mind. We got to keep in mind that these teams aren't really game planning. They're not game planning against each other. They're just deciding what they want to do, and they're just trying stuff, right? So, again, I'm not going to put too much stock into the Browns having a strong day at practice against the Philadelphia Eagles. You want to know why? I'm not going to overreact, because if the Eagles smoke them tomorrow, then what we talking about? You get what I'm saying? The Browns had a good practice on Thursday. But if the Eagles smoked them on Saturday, what we talking about? So, like, you know, there are people in the city, there are people in front of these microphones overreacting, and it's weird energy. Even Quinyon Mitchell didn't have a great day. Quinyon Mitchell has been a phenomenal player. Quinyon Mitchell is a top 50, has been nominated as a top 50 player in this league. You know what I'm saying? Cooper DeJean got beat. He was nominated as like a top 60 player, I think, in his league, top 60 or 70 player in his league, top 50, I think, as well. So again, what are we talking about? Guys got beat today or yesterday. It happens. And clearly the Browns were pulling out all the stops. And look, this is let this be a reminder as well. Let this be a reminder to the Eagles. Every team is going to give you their best shot under any circumstance. This was probably a real reminder for the Philadelphia Eagles, especially those players. It's a joint practice, right? And these teams are doing hook and ladders. They're getting creative. They're running trick plays, right? You know, let's keep it going because listen to this, right? It says here, the Browns offense pulled out all the stops against the Eagles on Thursday. It's a bit strange to run a hook and ladder in practice, but it did trip up the Eagles defense. Joe Flacco hit Harold Fannin Jr., who flipped the ball to running back Dylan Sampson, who scampered into the end zone. The Browns also ran a trick play earlier in the practice, tossing the ball to a running back who threw the ball downfield for a big gain. It's a good reminder that lesser opponents are going to try to pull out all the stops to beat the Eagles as they come off of a Super Bowl title. It happens. Really think about this, though. Really think about this. The Browns came in running trick plays in practice. I'm supposed to overreact to that. I'm supposed to get concerned about the Eagles defense or the Eagles in general because the Browns emptied the playbook in practice. I'm not going to spice that. I'm not going to overreact to that. They're not game planning for that. It's practice, it's joint practice. They don't game plan. That's one thing I learned in reading a lot of these articles. There's one thing I learned in listening to a lot of reputable reporters. They're not game planning for none of that stuff. That shit not working in the real game when you game plan. It's not working in the real game when you game plan. So again, I'm not going to overreact. You know, everything they're doing is vanilla. Everything the Eagles are running is vanilla. The Browns are the ones trying to. Hey, listen, you ever maybe you haven't, but you ever spar with somebody or slapbox somebody and then they take it too serious? It's like, yo, bro, we playing, relax. it's like we relax. We just practicing. Like, I'm not gonna give the Browns more credit because they decided to empty the playbook on the Eagles in practice. Like I said, if the Eagles smoke them tomorrow, then what? Are we going to overreact to that? So again, it's joint practice. They're trying stuff. You know, the Browns are not going to be a good team this year. They're not. And again, because the Eagles are the Super Bowl champs, let this be a reminder to them as well. Let this be a reminder to them as well. The teams are going to pull out all the stops against you. So better this happen now than later on. You know, this Eagles team is liable to have a bad day. Anybody is. But better it happen now. Better you get your reality checks now. Like the Browns ran a lot of gimmick plays and all that kind of stuff. Like, how can I really put stock into that, man? But again, teams are going to pull out all the stops against you. So you got to be ready for that, especially when the season starts. Teams are going to use you. Teams are going to use you as their measuring stick. Teams are going to use the Philadelphia Eagles as a way to validate where they are. If a team beats the Eagles in the regular season, they're going to say, oh, we're better than we thought. Oh, okay, maybe we can make a run. Hey, we beat them. We can hang with anybody. Teams are going to use the Eagles as the measuring stick. And it's up for the Eagles to be prepared for that. It's up for the Eagles to be prepared for these teams pulling out every single trick in the book to beat them. When you're that dominant, when you're that good, when you're that talented, when you're the champions, people are going to do that. So again, better it happen now than later. It don't matter how long you've been in the league, it don't matter how good you've been. Everybody needs a reminder that, hey, anybody can get touched. Listen, where I come from, anybody can get touched. That's slang for, hey, ain't nobody above getting the paws put on them. Ain't nobody above getting knocked out. Anybody can get caught slipping, basically. Nobody above it. So better it happen now than later. Simple as that, man. We're going to keep going, though. Andrew Makuba did give up a touchdown catch to Harold Fannin on the seam route for a touchdown for about 30 yards. But on the ensuing 2-point conversion, Deontay Johnson couldn't secure a catch, and Andrew Makuba made up for it and picked it off because the ball popped off his hands. So good thing for Andrew Makuba to recover, right? Andrew Makuba was in the right place at the right time, had the instinct to be able to take advantage of a mistake by Deontay Johnson. The ball bounced off his hands, and Makuba picked it off. So shout out to Andrew Makuba for having the instincts and taking advantage of the tip drill. All right, moving on here. Some other observations that they had. Josh Uche was able to draw a holding call against the Browns. Darius Cooper was able to beat Pro Bowler Denzel Ward on a slant for a touchdown. Darius Cooper made the most of that first team reps. So look, Darius Cooper got some first team reps as well, right? And the fact that we're seeing Darius Cooper getting first team reps shows that he's trending towards making his roster, right? And look, he beat Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward is a Pro Bowler, and I also think Denzel Ward is an All-Pro. Let me double check this. Yeah, Denzel Ward is a four-time. He's not an All-Pro, but Denzel Ward is a four-time Pro Bowler. Four-time Pro Bowler, one of the best corners in his league. And Darius Cooper beat him for a touchdown. Am I going to sit here and overreact and say Denzel Ward is cooked because Darius Cooper beat him? Hey, Darius Cooper got him on that play. It's the nature of the beast in the NFL. It's the nature of the beast when you play this sport. It's the nature of the beast at corner. You're going to get beat at some point. How you recover? You got to have a short memory in this game. Got to have a short memory. I'm going to get to all y'all super chats, by the way. I ain't forget. Jalen Hunt also had good pressure early in practice that forced Joe Flacco to throw the ball away. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. had a nice one-on-one tackle in the flat after running back Dylan Sampson caught the ball. And Cooper DeJean got beat by Jamari Thrash on an inside move for a touchdown. So again, am I going to say Cooper DeJean can't play football now? Am I going to say Cooper DeJean, I should be concerned about Cooper DeJean because Jamari Thrash beat him? I'm not going to react. It's practice. And it is what it is. Anybody can get touched. It's just that simple. But again, I hate how people overreacted, man. I really hate it. Like they even overreacted to late. Bringing beers. They overreacted to this. Landon Dickerson bought a case of beer, and they trying to like now all of a sudden are the Eagles focused? It's weird, bro. It's weird. It's really weird, man. So again, I just want to get back to my overall point, right? And that is I'm seeing these shock jocks in Philly crucify Jalen Hurts for not having a stellar training camp. It's not indicative of how the season's going to go. It's not indicative of how good of a quarterback Jalen Hurts is. Like, and I just hate how the pendulum swings sometimes. These guys just follow the wind. These guys chase cars. Some of these guys in the league, or I mean not in the league, some of these guys on the radio stations, they chase cars like dogs. You put a carrot on the stick and they chasing it. Weird energy. So what Jalen Hurts didn't have the best joint practice? All of a sudden that means he's going to have a failure of a season? Should we be concerned about Jalen Hurts having struggles in training camp? We've seen guys have perfect training camps and they fucking suck in the season. We've seen it. I'm not going to overreact to a Super Bowl MVP, a Super Bowl champion, an all-pro quarterback, a Pro Bowl level quarterback. I'm not going to overreact to a Pro Bowl level quarterback, an all-pro level quarterback having some bumps along the road. They're trying stuff. They're trying stuff. You know, they're making decisions they probably normally wouldn't make to try to see what they can do. They're testing things out. You know, I just hate where we are, bro. Like I ain't gonna lie. There's certain, like, I don't want to name names because I don't want to be disrespectful. I still have decorum. I still have tact. But there are guys on a particular radio station in the city that are just awful. They're awful. They're not good at what they do. They're desperate for clicks. They wouldn't be able to keep your attention unless they was on the radio. They can't build shit on their own. Like the station they on makes them valid. That's it. The station they're on makes them valid. You take away that station, who are they? We're not listening to you. We're not paying you no mind. They can't get it out the mud on their own. They can't build the platform up like we're doing here. They can't keep your attention without the backing of a radio station. And again, not every radio station. Not every radio station, man. It's like, matter of fact, I want to shout out my man Bill Colarulo. Seriously. He set the record. I want to shout out my man Bill. Bill Colarulo, he doing the Lord's work. He's doing the Lord's work. He's doing the Lord's work. You got one station who can't wait to kick the chair from under the quarterback. You got another station who's living in reality and saying, yo, this guy's a Super Bowl champion, just brought a Super Bowl to the city. This kid developed from being like a 60% quarterback to like completing 67, 68% of his passes. The developmental arc of Jalen Hurts has been phenomenal. And yet he still gets discussed the way he gets discussed because these guys are so desperate to humble the fan base. You're in the people business. You're in the position of service. The Philadelphia Eagles fans ain't trying to hear people disrespect the quarterback on radio. They're not trying to hear that. You're in a position of service. You're supposed to get the fans excited about this team, not disrespect the guy that brought the Super Bowl championship to the city. The first franchise quarterback to do so. Yeah. The first franchise quarterback, I specifically say, the first franchise quarterback to bring a Super Bowl to the city. And every chance they get, they want to humble him. But even more so, they want to humble y'all. They want to humble y'all. Because y'all believe Jalen Hurts is the top 10 quarterback. Or y'all believe Jalen Hurts is top 5. They want to humble y'all. And it's weird to me. Why do you want to humble your listeners? Your listeners are over the moon about their quarterback. They believe their quarterback can do it again when they said he couldn't do it at all. Jalen Hurts has been to 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls. He's won 1 of them. He's outplayed Patrick Mahomes on both occasions. He elevates his game in the playoffs, while these superstar quarterbacks, they love diminishing the playoffs, and they want to make excuses for him because of what their name is. Because they could throw for 4,000 yards a season. They want to make excuses for guys because they throw for more yards. When in the playoffs, all those passing numbers go down because teams want to run the ball more. They want to be more balanced. It's cold outside. all those big passing numbers they talking about means nothing in the playoffs. And let's be honest about this. When you're putting up big numbers like that, that means your team is down. That means you're playing catch up. That means you're losing. That's another thing that doesn't get talked about enough. When you're putting up 400, 300 passing yards a game, and that means you're losing. That means you're losing or your team can't run the ball. Like, they act like Jalen Hurts just lucked up into these Super Bowl appearances. They act like Jalen Hurts just lucked up into these moments. Jalen Hurts put the work in. He rebuilt his game from the ground up. He survived 4 or 5 different offensive coordinators. He's on his second head coach. He's stuck in the lab and rebuilt his game to be the best quarterback for this team. But they want to talk about practice. I'm on my AI shit. Really? We talking about practice? We talking about practice. We talk about practice. And this guy is a Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl champion, All-Pro, Pro Bowler, Burt Bell Award winner. But we're talking about practice. He's the first franchise quarterback to bring a Super Bowl to the city. Nick Foles was the backup. And that's not to diminish what Nick Foles did. Nick Foles did something special. But do you Eagles fans, follow me here. Do you know how validating it is? Do you know how vindicating it is to draft a player, develop a player, build around a player, and see that player, and pay a player, and then see that player deliver you a Super Bowl? Do you know how vindicated you feel as a GM, as a coach, as a fan base? We drafted the guy. We developed the guy. We built around the guy. We paid the guy. And he gave us a Super Bowl championship. But you want me to question him in practice? That's what we're doing. Jalen Hurts has been struggling in training camp. Should we be concerned? Oh, my God. Try harder. I know you guys can be more compelling than this. I know you guys can be more compelling. Maybe you can. Maybe you can. Maybe you only can be compelling when you're being negative about the franchise quarterback. Maybe they don't have it. Maybe they don't have it. Let me get to these super chats, man. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me get to the super chats. You guys are tuned in to Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II. I'm on one right now. So let me get to these. Let me get to these super chats, y'all. All right, let's see here. My man Shep is in the building with the $10 super chat. Thank you, man. He said, Shalom, Tone. I do believe that we'll be all right. Let's settle down. Bird Nation, we're good. Go Birds. I agree, Shep. My man Sweet Chin Music is in the building with the $5 super. He says, I turned 42 on Sunday, and the only birthday present I want is a starting caliber corner. Yeah, I will admit, though, that CB2 spot is looking a little spooky. I will admit that. That CB2 was looking a little questionable. It was looking highly questionable, actually. We'll see how Quinyon Bennett looks tomorrow, though. Alex with the super chat. Thank you, Al. He says, how worried are you about AJ's hamstring from 1 to 10? Maybe a 5. Maybe a 5. Because, he dealt with the hamstring last year, right? He dealt with the hamstring last year. So maybe a 5. I'm not overly concerned, but it's still something to monitor. So I'll say a 5. Miss Fanny, thank you for the super chat. She says, don't sleep on the Browns. They're not the dumpster fire people think. Rosters don't always reflect the record, in my opinion. I'm not worried, period. Yeah, I think the Browns are better defensively than they are offensively. That's what I think. I mean, they got a couple players on offense. They got David Njoku. Jerry Jeudy had a really good year last year. They have a really good offensive line too. They have a really good offensive, especially on the interior. They have a really good interior offensive line, but their defense is definitely ahead of their offense. They did draft Harold Fanning Jr., so they got another weapon out there. But yeah, I think the Browns' defense is better than their offense. S. Blunt, he says, heard John McMullen say he would cut Darius Cooper and put him on practice squad. He believes Eagles will prioritize other positions and he won't get picked up. Yeah, I strongly disagree with that. I strongly disagree with that take. And my man John McMullen, I mean, he has, that's his opinion, right? He's allowed to have his opinion. I just disagree. I think the Eagles are going to try to find a way to keep Darius Cooper on his roster. I really, really do. If I had to think why he would say that, I think he's thinking about it from the perspective of the Eagles barely hit wide receiver 3. This team is really AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert and Saquon Barkley. So why would the Eagles really stress about keeping a 4th or 5th wide receiver? But I just think Darius Cooper is a guy you don't want to let hit practice squad. You don't want to let him hit. You don't want to let him hit the open market. I think Darius Cooper is a guy that you probably want to develop still, keep him on the roster. You know, Jihaad Dotson is in his last year of his contract with the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think the Philadelphia Eagles will re-sign him. So maybe Darius Cooper can elevate to wide receiver 3. So I disagree. As Blunt, me and you on the same page. You know, I'm not just thinking about as a Blunt for this year. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not just thinking about Darius Cooper for this year. I'm thinking about Darius Cooper for next year as well. Because again, he's talented. I like him. And if Jihaad Dotson is in his contract year, and the Eagles, remember, the Eagles did not pick up his 5th-year option. So 9 times out of 10, Jihaad Dotson will walk, will get some good money on the open market, and the Eagles will be able to get a cheap wide receiver 3 in Darius Cooper if he continues to develop the way we expect him to. All right, let's keep this thing going. Miss Fanny back again. She said 5 OCs in 5 years. He could have been the MVP as the losing quarterback at Super Bowl 57. If Hurts is the constant in the scenario, then who's the problem? Breed of one. I'm with you on that, Fanny. Like, Jalen Hurts has really rebuilt his game. He's been too committed to this team, too committed to doing what the coaches need him to do. He's been too committed to making the right plays at the right time. And he's shown me too much for me to look at him and question his ability or question, can I trust him or be concerned? That's my quarterback. That's my quarterback. I don't question all pros. I don't question Super Bowl champions. I don't question Super Bowl MVPs. I don't. Now, granted, if it's the regular season and he's clearly struggling, we're going to talk about it. But it's practice. It's training camp. I'm not going to overreact to something until it's time to really overreact. I'm just not going to do that. Chris with the super chat. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you. He says it's 94 WIP. It's the Nepo baby, Spike Eskin. It's why I haven't listened to that station other than the clips for over a year. Listen, man. I don't know. The only person I know personally on WIP is my man Rob Ellis. Rob Ellis, that's my man. I will never say nothing bad about Rob Ellis. That's my guy. I got real love for Rob Ellis. That's my man. But I don't know nobody else up there. I don't think I know anybody else up there. But Rob Ellis, that's my guy. That's my brother in Christ. I love Rob Ellis. Truly, truly love him, love his family. But you're right. You got guys up there. You got guys up there who they're desperate to prove a point when it comes to Jalen Hurts. They're desperate. You know what? They're probably those guys who really, really wanted Carson Wentz to be the guy. They really wanted Carson to be the man. It grinds their gears that Jalen Hurts is the one. It grinds their gears that Jalen Hurts is the guy. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I tell you one thing though. Look at their numbers though. You see, they're trying to encroach in the digital space, right? But no one cares. No one cares about what they say. No one cares about what they say. You want to know who adds credibility to those guys? Hugh Douglas, Ike Reese, What's what's his name? John Ritchie, right? John Ritchie, Ike Reese, and Hugh Douglas. They bring credibility to those guys. They bring credibility to those shows. Other than that, we wouldn't listen to them. We wouldn't pay them no mind. We wouldn't listen to Joe Gigolo. We wouldn't listen to Spike Eskin if it wasn't for Hugh Douglas and Ike Reese sitting next to them. We wouldn't listen to those guys. We wouldn't. Hugh Douglas and Ike Reese and John Ritchie give those guys credibility. Simple as that. Simple as that. But I'm supposed to overreact to practice. That's why I respect guys like John Kincaid. I respect guys like Bill Colarulo. I respect guys like Andrew DeCecco. Because they not out there surfing for clicks. They not out there desperate to stimulate a reaction from the fan base. What's my other boy name? He good too. I gotta find out. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. I'm trying to see their roster. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, Ricky Bo. Shout out to Ricky Bo as well. That's who it is. Ricky Bo. Shout out to Ricky Bo. I like Ricky Bo. Bill Colarulo, Ricky Bo. Shout out to them, man. You know, they not desperate. All right, let's see here. Gabby with the 1999 super chat. Thank you, Gab. I appreciate you so much for showing love to the show. She says, just showing some love, Tone. Go Birds. Thank you, Gabby. I appreciate you. You know, we got 2 Super Bowl rings. You know, sis. You know what it is. Thank you so much for supporting. Thank you for showing love. It means a lot. Really does mean a lot. Thank you. All right, who we got next up? My man Alex with the super chat. He says, you and Coach doing the pregame stream tomorrow morning. Also, did you watch Bustin' with the Boys, the Eagles video? Howie's interview was great. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. But I will watch it. I know how we broke down the A.J. Brown trade and how it happened, so I can't wait to watch that. As far as the pregame stream tomorrow, that's a good question. I know me and Coach do our show on Sunday. I'm going to have to tap in with Coach. To find out. I'll text him. I'll text him after the show today and find out if he's free. I'll tap in with him to see if he's free. We'll do that. Because that's a good question, Alex. I'll reach out to him and see if he's able to do it. All right, we're about to close the show, you guys. I appreciate the love and support. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, man. And look, like my man Alex said, y'all got a ton of options, and I always appreciate y'all locking in with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to manufacture a reaction from you guys. I'm giving you guys my passion, my energy, my perspective, and hopefully you guys feel me, right? And if you don't, hey, it's all love at the end of the day. But I'm not going to sit here and overreact to practice. I'm not going to sit here and disrespect or act like it's the end of the world for Jalen Hurts. Act like I need to be concerned about Jalen Hurts. I'm not going to do it. I'm not there. Again, if we get into midseason, right, and Jalen Hurts is not looking good, okay, we can talk about that. We can talk about, the reality. But I'm not going to sit here and crucify him for practice. I'm just not going to do that. I'm just not. And honestly, Flawless, AKA, I don't listen. I don't listen to him personally. I really just hear what people retweet or repost on social media. Like, I don't listen to them, but sometimes things find you on social media. Hey, 803 the Hitman. In the words of BG, they don't know Jalen Hurts like I know Jalen Hurts. Facts. Facts, man. I'm not gonna sit here overreact to practice. What I look like, man. Like, all of a sudden, should I be concerned about Jordan Mailata because because he struggled against Myles Garrett? I'm not gonna overreact. I just can't, man. I can't. But we're about to get out of here, you guys. The Eagles play the Cleveland Browns tomorrow in their second preseason game. I think the Eagles are home, right? I think the Eagles are home. I think this game will be in Philadelphia because they did have joint practice yesterday in Philly. So yeah, this game will be in the city. So it's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern time, 12 p.m. Central time, 11 a.m. Mountain time, and 10 a.m. Pacific time. So make sure you guys tune in if you get a chance. Should be an exciting game. And again, right? Eagles didn't have a good practice. So what? If they smoke the Browns tomorrow, then what? If they smoke the Browns tomorrow, then what? All this keeping track of stats and keeping track of win-loss records and joint practices. It's weird. It's weird to me. It's weird. So, we'll see how things go. I'm looking forward to the game. I'm going to tap in with my man, Coach Marcus, see if he's down for a pregame show tomorrow. And we'll take it from there, you guys. So I've been your humble host, Tone DeShields II. You guys have been tuned in to your dose, your healthy dose, your realistic dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game.